Hello viewers, VASISTA GAYATRI Academy welcomes you. In this video, we study about the research angle of rule of law. In the previous video, we studied what is the rule of law and what is the birth of rule of law, who have formulated it, and what are the principles of the rule of law we studied. Now here, the research angle about the rule of law we will study. And now let us continue A.B. Dicey's three principles of the rule of law here. According to him, the three principles are: number one, supremacy of law. The second one is absence of arbitrary action or power of the government. And the third one is predominance of legal spirit. Now we shall study one by one. Supremacy of law means law stands first in the hierarchy, in any hierarchy for that matter. Even the Prime Minister, President, or any other person will come only next to the law. The place of law is like that. And law should govern the land. And those who created law, or those who are in power, are just servants of the law. This is Aristotle also mentioned this one. So the interpretation of the supremacy of law is this: a hierarchy. Law stands first. That is the power of law. And very notable point here is what Aristotle said is quite applicable here, that those who are in power are the servants of law. It itself is explained in an epigrammatic style by Aristotle. And this is quite applicable here. And the second principle, that is absence of arbitrary power of the government. See, what is this? The first one is supremacy of law. And the second one is, the first one is somewhat a positive dimension. And the very second one is absence of arbitrary power. Means a sort of a contradictory idea, or we can say a paradoxical idea, element. That means when everything is law is all in all, and it stands first in the land, and everybody is a secondary, then why this arbitrary power? Why this misuse of power? How and in what way? So that is a paradoxical element we can study here. Actually, a rule of law is grounded in the idea of justice and fairness. But why and how this arbitrary power or misuse of the power by the government or the rulers will happen? It shows very clearly that law can also be unjust. See, when Dicey is very particular of saying supremacy of law at the first point, at the second level he says that absence of arbitrary power means there is a paradoxical. Says this paradox is common in human nature, human being, in the world, in the nature, also in the law for that matter. In all our Vedantic philosophy also, we can find this dualism, contradiction, and the paradoxical element. So here, true to the nature, he says he has given some hint that there is a paradoxical element, that law can be unjust too sometimes. How? Is it real? Just we shall have a small glances at some cases. Let's take Sabarimala case decided by the apex court. Some women fought for equality. Yes, why not women? Only men are permitted. Why not women too are permitted to Sabarimala temple? That was the issue. You know very well. The verdict pronounced by the Supreme Court is that yes, according to the Article 21, 14, 15, there is equality and right to liberty and all that. Yes, they too have the equality, power of equality. They are also equal. So woman and man should be treated alike. Why that in the discretion, partiality? So let them also go, women also visit the temple. That's what they said. The correct direct point, we have come to that. So here, even women themselves made a dissenting opinion that why this particularity? There are so many temples and there are so many vratas, ascetic things that we can carry. See, our cultural heritage has fixed some rituals for the woman and some rituals for the man. Man, what man has to do, he has to. What woman has to do, that she has to carry out that thing. There should not be any feeling of equality, liberty, and all that. It is not the matter of equality. It is a sharing of sentiments, sharing of the rituals for the soul satisfaction, which we have inherited for ages together. Because life based on the custom, the first source of life is the custom. We have to respect it. So it's not a matter of equality or any liberty like that. Even women, most of women themselves admitted that what is why we are very particular, not necessary. It is treated to be somewhat unjust also. And let us take another example, that is adultery law. The Supreme Court of India recently pronounced that completely changed the adultery law. It has undergone some change. It has struck down section 497 of IPC, saying that adultery is not at all criminal offense. No punishment at all, either to woman or man, nothing of that sort. It is only a ground for divorce. And sexual autonomy, very important point that they have mentioned in their obiter dicta, that sexual autonomy is to be given to women. But no woman in our country is coming forward to hankering after this sexual autonomy. They are not longing for that sexual autonomy. It is an implied one. It is a purely personal matter. No woman is taking it serious also. And totally, it has been treated to be somewhat unjust also. Because the issue is not related to liberty, equality, as announced, as it has been enshrined in our Indian Constitution, Article 14, 15, 21, like that. It is a matter of human affinity, a sweet human relationship, unquestionable, unquestioned, undisputed, and unparalleled also. So human affinity is a matter of human affinity, not dignity or any liberty or equality like that. And these legal principles, rules are not the parameters for establishment of this sweet human affinity, human relationship, and the bond between man and woman. So it is somewhat unjust also. And if we take the practical, some service matter issues, cases, in my own professional career, I had come across a very eccentric, very peculiar case, incident in service matter. When I was the principal in government college, there was serious pressure, continuous, constant pressure of the local political leaders. In government college, generally there will be regular lectures with a high pay, regular scale, and contract lectures with 37,000. Now it is 57,000 per month, and guest lectures with 10,000 rupees. There were two guest lecturers working with me in our college, in my college, government college, and they were closely related and not related. They are family members of two political leaders, local political leaders. They came directly to the college, interfered in the college administration, and forced me to do this one, that try and convert these two guest lecturers into contract lecturers and enter their names also in the contract lecturers register, so that they can get a huge benefit of 57,000 rupees salary per month instead of 10,000. Because it was against rule, regulation, and I will be taken to task, I have simply declined. But they took initiative and they themselves wrote down the names, their two guest lecturers' names in the contract lecturers register, tampered the register, and went up. When I brought that matter to the government officials, our department, as usual, it is my duty. So I had to inform that matter to the government, our department. These two political leaders, they group prejudiced, developed a vendetta, and went to the minister with some allegations, reports, with the heinous complaints and allegations. And these allegations papers were also signed by the students' parents because they will be in their hands. And I have been the non-local person far, far away from that area, from 500 to 600 kilometers more than from my native place. Being a non-local, I could not do anything. And these people could be successful. These two political leaders were successful in getting the signatures of the parents also in that allegations, and went to the minister and convinced the minister. And this minister, on the spur of the moment, immediately gave a letter to the commissioner, our commissioner, placed that so-and-so person, the principal, under suspension. And accordingly, I was suspended, placed under suspension. I did not go to the court of law. It was unjust. I know very well. They know very well. And the enquiry was just nominal. No RD alterum partem as per law, as per natural justice, as per the rule of law. RD alterum partem means the other side must be heard. And that was heard just nominal enquiry. Because of the political influence, the government officials have resorted to the arbitrary power. See, the point to be noted here is arbitrary power of the government officials. I have been subjected to injustice. So, unjust law. So, the law here says that if I go to the court of law, the court says no, we do not. The judiciary will not interfere in the service matters of the government employees. That is the law. And if I want to approach the very government officials, they have been unduly influenced by the political leaders, and they have resorted to arbitrary power. So the law is unjust. And as per law, another point is, as per law, I must be reinstated within 6 months. Even that did not happen. After 7 or 8 months, I was reinstated. I was silent on that issue, simply believing in the doctrine of karma. But that cannot be compensated. It cannot be compensated with doctrine of karma. And now, if we take, I will explain another incident in the same district. Our district official, one officer, was also, when he retired from the service, there were some allegations against him. And after retirement, even after 3 years and 4 years, his pension was not cleared. It was pending. He went to the court of law. He filed a petition in the court of law, and it was going on and going on because of the procedural rigmarole. You know very well, procedural rigmarole means always adjourning and adjourning months and years together. And in the meanwhile, after observing for 3 years and 4 years, he appealed to different agencies like Adalat, ADR system, Adalat, Lok Adalat, and even government agencies, government officers. But again, the rule is once list pendency. Again, the rule says that once the case is pending with court of law, any court of law for that matter, nobody should approach the employee or any other victim, should not approach any other agency for that matter, even the government. So it has been going on and going on, and he has been subjected to the unjust law. So that is called, law can also be unjust many a time. So what A.V. Darcy has mentioned here in a symmetrical dimension, just beside that, first one is supremacy of law, and the second one is absence of arbitrary power of the government. It indicates that there is every possibility that the law can be unjust too. So that paradoxical element is innate, it's quite natural. That's what we have to understand here. And that is the reason why Damija, in his beautiful novel Unlawful Justice, says very funnily, oh, justice, we can have it in the next world. In this world, we can have law, LAW law, he says. So, law will also face injustice sometimes, though not many times. And that is the reason why Goldsmith, a beautiful, a great English poet, Oliver Goldsmith says, law grinds the poor and rich man rules the law. Okay, under these eccentric, peculiar circumstances or paradoxical circumstances of positive dimension of law and the negative dimension of law, what A.V. Dicey has mentioned in his first two principles. Under this paradoxical circumstance, what is the panacea? Now comes the actual thing, that is common law genesis. There is the spirit of law, the true spirit of law. Now comes the third principle of A.V. Dicey, that is the predominance of a legal spirit, he says. If there is a real spirit of real legal spirit, a true legal spirit, it must have the exploration of extensive knowledge, legal knowledge. That is the quality of a real or a true legal spirit. And the common law is the only solution, the only panacea. This is what is advocated by American former Chief Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes. I will be frequently referring to him because his quotations are most striking and thought-provoking too at the same time. He says, life of law has not been logic, but it has been experience. Experience of what, of whom? Experience of the judges, juries, legal thinkers. That's what I said, that if there is any, what Davis says, that Dicey says, predominance of legal spirit, if there is a real, a true a legal spirit, it must have the extensive of legal knowledge. And there emerges the common law genesis, that is common law, a spirit. From that common law, that's what I have told you in the very first video also, first part of this topic, that law is not predetermined. It emerges as and when the occasion demands, as and when the injustice stimulates. Because from case to case, law, the dimensions of law will take different shapes, different styles, different angles. So the common law, which emerges from the brain, the experience of the judges, will alone be the panacea, and that will show the real justice. And I would like to conclude Mansfield's great quotation that justice must be done even if the heavens fall down. That is the real cry and the sole cry of the rule of law. This is about my brief about the rule of law from research angle. Thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you once again.